And we're back. It's the next morning and we're gonna get back to work. It's time to, well, we just pulled off the TPO. Obviously it's over there now next to the building, but we now need to clean up around the perimeter to make sure that there's no nails that's gonna puncture our roof. So anything that's sticking out like that needs to be cleaned up, because obviously if we puncture the roof, what was the point of putting it down? But what I'm gonna do is rip off the damaged plywood, clean it up, take out that blue foam, clean up a couple spots here, and then we can start putting down the insulation that pitches the roof. So that's next step. Let's get to it. We have to remove this panel right here. We're gonna remove that panel over there and that one over there as well. And that way we can actually bring our roof up onto the back wall and our siding goes over. So it sheds the water over so we don't have a leak. So that has to all get torn out, and then we can check the plywood, make sure it's okay. And then once those three pieces are off, we can start putting on the roof. We just ripped off the fiber cement. It only didn't take very much to rip it off because, you know, the nails were obviously just pulling right out. But as we can see here, the foam is soaked with water. So even every little piece is hard with basically ice, which is, you know, water. So what we need to do now is just rip the rest of this off and then figure out how bad the wall really is, because I guess everything, you know, all shit flows downhill, right? Let me just want to cut this tie back down here a little bit so I can see where we're, oh, holy f. Oh no. Oh no. No, not again. Not again. Holy shit. Well, that's not good news. I guess we're just going to have to open this up and figure out how bad it really is. It's like it never ends. Oh, jeez. Oh my God. Okay. Maybe it's just a little section there that's really, I don't know. Where do you think it came from? Ugh. Ay. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? All right, let's rip the rest of this off. Let's see how bad it is. And then we'll reconvene and we'll talk about it. Share our feelings and our thoughts about the whole adventure. Okay, the rot repair is done. Everything's ready for TPO now. We just changed this piece of plywood and I got the Tyvek kind of to stick over it. Not the best, but good enough for now. So the next thing we're gonna do is install the tapered ISO system that pitches the roof. Because right now the whole roof is built completely dead level. Well, almost dead level. I mean, they tried to build it dead level. So what I'm gonna do here is add a pitch, like from this way downwards, to get the water to run out the hole, which is called a scupper. There's two of them, obviously. And so we're using Q panels, which are the most aggressive tapered panels there are. So we go from a 1/2 inch to, I think, 2.5. So that's really aggressive. And if you had to go more aggressive, you could double stack them or triple stack them or whatever you want to do. You know, it's really kind of limitless. So we have our Q panels. We're going to set our first set of Q panels like this. Then we're going to cut one in the back. Well, actually, you know what I do before I stack the one in the back is add a 2-inch fill, because you can't just add a Q panel to a Q panel, because then it'll be a 1/2 inch and there'll be 2 inches above it. So the way you build up your layers is every 4 feet you go back, you have to go up 2 inches. So if we went back 3 rows, it'd be 4 inches. And that's how you do tapered ISO. All right, most of our insulation is down. We're at the point now where we can screw most of it. We're using 6-inch screws with 3-inch insulation plates. and we're putting 5 screws per panel. And so that's what that looks like. You can see the pitch. If you look over there, see how big it is there, and it gets smaller as we go up. So we're going from about 1/2 inch to 2.5. I know it's 4.5 inches in the back. Oh yeah. So we're going from 1/2 inch to 4.5 inches at the back. And that's a pretty extreme pitch, and that's really gonna let the water flow down into the scuppers. But we're running into a problem here now where we have like we have a nice straight edge coming across, but the problem is that we now are gonna have a lot of water sitting right there, and that's a problem. Because if the water doesn't run, it just flows right there and just gets stuck there when we haven't done anything that we really want to do. And that could just cause longevity problems, standing water, you get mosquitoes. You guys know, it's pretty nasty. So what I'm gonna do is build what's called a cricket. And now that's gonna be the exact same panel, the exact same Q panel, right? Before we were facing them downhill, like so. Now we're gonna turn them around, like so, face them uphill, and I'll show you guys how I do that. And that's what's gonna give our roof the ability to force water into the scuppers to both ends and not trap it in the center. So, well, at least that's the plan. So let's get to that part of it. Isaac's gonna screw down all the screws. I'm gonna put down some more insulation because I got a lot of cutting to do. But I wanted to show you guys one last thing. People always wonder what kind of tools am I using to like cut the insulation, because all my cuts are super precise. So if you look down here, there isn't a gap anywhere there. There's no gap anywhere else. If you look at the wall, not a single gap anywhere. Now, that's the biggest gap I have right there. And that's actually really good. Now I'm using a track saw, and I know people think that's probably overkill. I'm using this Makita 6.5 inch track saw. I have 2 different lengths of track. And the reason I use that, because it gives me that tight gaps, like, well, lack of gaps, give me like tight fit. And I know people think that's super overkill because everybody's using a knife to cut insulation. No one's really using a track saw. So I decided I wanted tighter gaps. Well, no gaps. Stop saying gaps. Gaps. So this speeds up the process for me. Yes, it cost me a fortune to do it this way because you got a saw, you got the batteries, you got the tracks. It's a lot more to it. But at the same time, I don't have any gaps in my insulation, so we get better R value. Less gaps means you save more on energy bills. Now, how much? I don't really know. Probably not that much. But it means we do a better job, and that's what we're looking for. So let's get to that cricket. I'm excited to show you guys this. I've done it in pretty much every single job, but I always love when they come out. They're a little tough for me to do sometimes because they're just hard. But I enjoy the challenge. Like these new boots I have. That's a challenge because they're uncomfortable. So I feel really clumsy and slow. But that's life, right? Challenges. That's what we're all about at All Roof USA. Challenges. All right, let's do a time lapse. Roll it. We just put down all the insulation to pitch the roof. Now it's time to put the actual roof on. But before we cover up my beautiful job here, this is what it looks like at the end. And now we are ready to install our white membrane that's down there. So, well, that's the plan at least. I hope it goes to plan. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be a big piece of TPO. I might actually cut it. That might be what I do. We'll see. So it turns out we're definitely not ready for the roof yet. I made a mistake. Ay, what a blunder. So, when you have a deck and someone's gonna be walking on it, insulation can hold weight pretty well, because you can see I'm standing on it and it's not doing any real damage. But you can see someone kick the insulation too hard and there's a little bit of a divot in it. Now, how you combat that when you have a roof on it is you put down this 100 PSI, which is 100 pounds per square inch. So it can withstand, I think, 100 pounds per square inch, where the other ISO is like 20 pounds per square inch. Now, we put this on top of our deck area, so when the sleepers or the pedestals or whatever you use to put a deck down, it doesn't bear too much weight in one area and then cause the insulation to like sink and lose its shape. So we're definitely not ready for the roof yet, but we will be after 4 sheets of this 100 PSI insulation. So this is what it looks like now. I'm just gonna add some screws into it, hold it down really, really well. We're gonna cover the entire roof that way. entire deck area, I should say. And then we're gonna put down the TPO. But we gotta hurry because it's getting kind of cold. And it's Christmas Eve tomorrow, so we won't be back. We have to get this waterproof because we're trying to take a couple days off until Monday. Let's do it for the millionth time. It's getting late. We're finally pretty much done with this roof. That's one piece of TPO, this entire roof, all the details. Look at this beautiful pigs here. Look how sexy that is. Honestly, you can't beat that. That's nice, okay, I gotta say. You know, I hate to toot my own horn, but someone has to, you know? We are finally at the part where we've just got the scuppers done and they look pretty good. So that's the only real seams we have here. And then I had to do quite a few patches here to double reinforce that a little bit of a scupper detail there, which was kind of not so great, but it is what it is. Now, let me actually stay on top of the scaffolding. And that way I can give you guys an idea of what it looks like from the outside. So I still have to finish up the corners there on both sides, but in an effort to like save a little bit of time, what we're gonna do now is weld up the top strips. So we have to weld up a piece here because we've now put nails. So we have to cover all that up. And so we're gonna clean it really well, weld in our cover strip. Once that's done, we're pretty much ready for the deck. But that's in another video.